today's topic is how to create an instance template in GCP. So why we should create an instance template? So the main reason is that once we create an instance template, so it's going to use the same particular instance template to create any kind of an uh, virtual machine in GCP. So for an example, if we want to create an instance, so we have to require every time we have to access this console, and we have to give a specific configuration of the VM, and then we have to configure it. But so if we have a script which is running for something, so you should have to use the same configuration script for every instance for every instance to get created. But in terms of an instance template, once you create an instance template, so every time whenever you want to spin up any VM in GCP, you have to use this instance template rather than going and doing a repetitive task every time for creating a VM instance by putting an input value or doing an script inside the metadata of a VM instance. Rather than doing that, you can able to create an instance template here itself. So create instance template. Once you click template to the instance template, coming navigating to instance template, create instance template. Here you can mention. So let me demo it. So let me install this a web. Let me do a web server. Okay, server. Okay, if you want to add labels, you can add labels. So you can, I'm adding the label as web server prod web server and save it. So a machine type, you can able to choose the machine type. Presently I'm choosing micro one. So it's going to be using a less, it's going to occur a less cost for us. So since it is using a 1 gig of RAM and shared core CPU, so because of that reason, so the cost is came down to $7.99. So next thing which you want to look into is that, so don't look into this container and all, so that is not required presently as of now. So there is if you want to deploy any container image into this VM, then only you can use this deploy container. So if you here in the boot disk, you can able to select so different operating system which you want to be using. So and there are, it is Debian. Presently I have chosen Debian. So you can also choose the Windows, Ubuntu. So many of the operating system is also available. So all the Linux distribution which is a license free, so you do not have to pay any money for the Linux distributions operating system. But if you are using a Windows, then you have to pay a fees for it, licensing fees. So Debian, I'm currently using Debian. So this boot disk is one of the very important thing. So if you want a faster a VM instance, you can choose an SSD. SSD is a little bit costlier thing. So when you choose an SSD and 10 gigabit of RAM, 10 gigabit of disk space, so the SSD disk gonna cost $1.87, but when you choose a balanced persistent disk, then it's gonna cost you lesser actually. So that's how it's gonna work. So let's see the variation actually. See, so the balanced persistence disk is gonna cost 1.10. So if you are choosing uh, the SSD, it's going to cost 1.87 for 10 GB. So depending upon that, it's going to differentiate. So you can able to give an access to an API. So currently it is in compute engine default service account, but you can specify by giving it by creating a I have not created any service account. You can create a new service account, and you can choose that service account based on the permission which you can give for that service account actually. So then you can create a service account, add the permissions, and choose that service account for accessing from this VM. So that's you can do it. So I'm allowing HTTP and HTTPS traffic. So advanced option. So here is gonna be interesting actually. So go to the management. So in the management, so here there are the two options is there. One is standard VM model, one is a smart VM model. So if you are running a fault tolerance or tolerant workloads, then you can choose a spot model. So when you choose a spot model, the of cost incurred by this VM instance, it's gonna be almost 70 to 80% less. Yeah, as you can see here, it's gonna cost only $2 per month. It's almost in Indian rupees, it's gonna be 160 rupees, 150, 160 rupees. It's gonna be costing 160 rupees for us. So for running for 1 month the VM. So think about how flexible the cloud computing is. So if you want to run a script, you can type a script here. So I'm so once the VM is launched, it should be having a pre-installed HTTP server, Apache server. The web server it should be installed before itself. For that, you are configuring the startup script here itself. So in the next video, I'm going to elaborate in the briefer manner about that. So this is a brief overview. So where you can give apt update. Okay, next apt sudo apt get install apache 2 minus 1. So this is going to install an apache 2 for us. So let me click create the instance template. Okay, so once we create an instance template here, so we create not to create and we do not to provide the same details what we entered again and again to create any newer virtual machine. So to create a virtual machine, click on actions. So create VM. So presently the VM instance is creating. So we have also written a script to install the Apache 2 web server actually. Finish it. So we can access this external IP to see the Apache 2 web server actually. Still the web server is creating. So now the web server is created. So where you can click on the external IP. So where it's gonna take you to the Apache 2 web server what we created. So since it is not an HTTPS, you can backspace the HTTP. You can take to HTTP and you can press enter. So where you can see the default Apache 2 Debian default page. So this how you can able to install an HTTP server on top of this index.html. So this is the path where this file is stored. You can store the your own custom website. So then you can able to launch and your website by this compute instance. So this is how you can able to launch a website in this Apache in this web server in the Apache 2 web server application. So let me SSH into this device, show you how that index.html file looks like. So now let me navigate. Let me show you where that index.html file is located. So the command is vi dot so var www.html and index.html. So this is gonna pop up the, yeah, index.html file, so where it is located. So this is the page actually, so where the default page what we are seeing. So this is the exact file where it is stored here. So this is how you can able to replace this with that actually, and then you can able to uh, create your own custom uh, website and deploy it actually. So the extension to navigate to this index.html file is, you can press cd and go for this war.www.html. So where you click on ls, and this is the index.html file where you can take your index.html files to store here, and then it's going to pop up from this index.html file and it's going to reflect in the web server page. So this is all about this video guys. In the next video I'll be showing you how to create an instance template group from the already created instance template. So that's one of the interesting video guys. So, and I will also deploy a load balancer on top of it, and I will going to insert some traffic on top of that, and it's going to create the different create more virtual instances based on the load acting on that particular load balancer. So it's going to take the auto scaling will be enabled and the L check will be enabled. So those parts it's going to be interesting. So please wait for the next video. Please do like and subscribe. Thank you guys. I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.